Hello, I'm Katerina Nemcova, Woman Grandmaster, and here I am with Independent Curator Larry List. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you as well.
How does it feel to be back here at Hall of Fame?
I live in New York, but I always say that I am happiest when I'm here in St. Louis, sort of at the Hall of Fame and with the chess club across the street. It's nice to be doing another show here.
And you're a very successful curator, and to be so, you have to be passionate about your shows, about your exhibits. How did chess capture your heart, your attention?
I played as a child, and then art and rock and roll intervened for a number of years, and then I became involved helping museums research lost artworks and reconstructing them, and among them was Isamu Noguchi's chess set that he made for the imagery of chess. And as I began researching, I became re-engaged with chess. And as I kept researching, a talented young woman offered to be my chess tutor. That was Jean Hoffman. And Jean sort of went on to set up 9 Queens for encouraging girls and young women to be involved in chess. And then now she's sort of sharing her talents as the director of the United States Chess Federation. She introduced me to Jen Shahade, and thanks to Jean and Jen, I am not a great chess player, but they have taught me enough so that I can appreciate the genius of other great chess players. And so whenever I come to St. Louis, I try to time it so that it's for the Singfield Cup or one of the other competitions so that I can enjoy all of the great chess play.
Yeah, I think me being as a chess player, I really enjoy just watching the chess pieces, enjoying the beauty of the game, because sometimes we just play chess like a very functional game, and here we can actually see how it's beautiful, how it's a really special game. So how is Dr. Dean's collection different than others?
Dr. Dean, Dr. and Mrs. Dean, Vivian Dean, because they are, for the past 55 years, equal partners in the enterprise of studying, researching, hunting and gathering out in the world. They've traveled to over 100 countries in search of chess sets. And they can say, do you have chess sets in 20 different languages? But their collection, they began 55 years ago, and they had sort of the curiosity, the ambition, and the means to be able to track down the finest existing examples that there were. And so they were able to assemble this encyclopedic, this global collection that traces sort of chess from probably the 8th century to 1960s. They even have some 21st century sets in their collection. And their collection rivals the Gustavus Pfeiffer collection that was donated to the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, and the John H. Harbison collection, which is in the Philadelphia Museum of Art, as far as the expanse, the depth, and the variety.
You are talking about Dr. Dean having so many collections. How hard was it to pick the specific chess sets for the exhibition?
For this 5th anniversary for the Hall of Fame and the 55th anniversary of the Dean's collecting, we wanted to find a different reason for having a show. And also we wanted to try and find a different sort of modality that would enable us to use the sets as a way of teaching. And so we thought about sort of who came up with ways of classifying or selecting things. And Carl Linnaeus, the Swedish scientist and physician during the Age of Enlightenment, came up with the ambitious project of classifying things into animal, vegetable, and mineral. All natural things were 1, 2, or 3. And so we thought, okay, let's go through the collection and see what we can find as far as the most outstanding examples with animal, vegetable, mineral either as the subject of the set or as distinctive materials from which the sets were made. So we did that, and then as far as, well, how do we want to present the things so that they'll be the most informative and attractive? Another Enlightenment era sort of a genius, sort of Dr. Dean pointed out, was Denis Diderot, and his ambition was to classify all of human knowledge. These were people with great ambitions. Like the Deans in their collecting of chess sets, these people had great ambitions. And so Diderot sort of created this dictionary of 27 volumes, which was the dictionary of sciences, arts, and crafts. And it was the first time that crafts were included co-equal with the other disciplines. And we thought, well, okay, why don't we show the chess sets as art? Why don't we show the natural materials they're made from as examples of natural science? And then why don't we put in some of the tools or the processes with which they were made? And so we had both sort of like a way of selecting and a way of presenting that we thought would be a new approach, and also one that would afford like educators and the general public to come in and be able to sort of delve in or connect in other ways.
Can you share a bit about great players who have played on these boards?
Well, I can share a little bit about that. Sort of the centerpiece of the vitrine full of amber chess sets that we have in the center of the gallery. The centerpiece of the centerpiece is the personal chess set of Catherine the Great of Russia. And she was an avid chess player, and she was given for her 16th birthday a set of amber mines by her parents. And they, you know, she was of German aristocracy. And then when she married into the Russian royal family, she insisted that the Russian Empire pay to house, feed, and set up her amber carving studio in Russia. And so she had them personally make this chess set for her, and she took it with her wherever she went. And it portrays her, Catherine the Great, with her confidant, Potemkin, and they are opposed to her evil son, Paul, who tried to get her deposed, and his nefarious wife. And so you can see these little miniature portraits, and so every game played on that became both a personal drama for Catherine and a chess game. And then she could have had a chess set made out of diamonds or emeralds, whatever she wanted. But she chose to have her personal set made out of amber, because it's the same red as royal blood. It came from the earth of Russia, and she wanted to feel in contact with her own country. And that I thought was especially sort of important.
It's really nice how the chess kind of was part of her life.
And so I think that she deserves, as Dr. Dean and Vivian both did, that she deserves to be in the very center of our room.
She must definitely spread more interest in chess through her chess set and through her interest in chess.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. And maybe she is either an encouragement or a footnote in the long, impressive history of Russia in relationship to chess, especially as we evolve into the 19th and 20th centuries and the present day.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so.
Yes. Another royal who promoted chess and promoted sort of industry and craft as well was Augustus the Strong, the Elector of Saxony. And he nearly bankrupted his kingdom because he had an intense passion for collecting Chinese porcelain. And so his accountants came to him and said, "We're running out of money. You've got to stop doing that." He said, okay, I will fix the problem. And he called his court alchemists and he said, "We have two problems and you can solve either one. You just have to solve one. Either figure out this turning lead into gold so I can keep buying porcelain, or you can figure out our own recipe for making our own porcelain," because it was a highly guarded secret in China, because at that point they were selling porcelain for more than its weight in gold. So the alchemist said, "Well, those are like impossible problems. We can't possibly do that." He says, "No, I'm sure you'll be able to do that, because I'm locking you into my castle, the one that's on the island in the middle of the rapidly flowing river, and you're going to live there until you do. You don't get to leave." And so 7 years later, the alchemist sent him a little note and said, "I think we have the formula." And indeed, they had figured out a formula for porcelain. And Augustus then set up Meissen porcelain works, the first and foremost, still to this day, European porcelain works in Europe. Also, in his excitement, he indulged his other passion, which was he loved wild animals. And at each of his palaces, he had his own private zoo. And as soon as they got up and running with the Meissen works, he sent them a list of 400 of his specific favorite animals. And he had the artists, the Meissen artists, go there and make sculptures of them from life, because he wanted porcelain sculptures of his favorite animals. And we see this passion for animals and passion for porcelain in our show reflected in the frogs chess set and the Max Esser sort of like animal chess set and the beautiful sea life chess set. So that tradition of sculpting animals from life persists even into the 20th century in the present day. And so thank you, sort of like Augustus the Strong.
Yeah, I like all the chess sets here. They're amazing. But the favorite one is the mice chess set, the porcelain mice set.
Yes.
I like how they focus on the details of the mice, how they're like in
Yes.
the rook there is a small one locked like in the rook inside and just like staring outside. I think it's very nice to see how they relate. At one of the chess sets there are like tortoises holding it.
Yes, at the corners of the board.
Do you think there's a special meaning with it?
There is. Yes, and during that period, I think the set that you are referring to is the rock crystal set, and it has the tortoises, and the tortoises during that time, which is 1525 or so, were a symbol of slow, determined progress towards victory.
When I saw it, I thought that it's maybe in more negative way, like it's a slow game, but I like that it's determined and toward victory.
Yes, you've been a very careful observer. And it delights me. You're my ideal sort of audience.
Thank you. I'm really amazed. It's so beautiful. It's something very special that I think people here in St. Louis now can enjoy it. So what's like the main message of this exhibition?
The main message is that chess is not something that is apart from life. Chess is definitely something that is a part of all the rest of life. My motto is find something strange and beautiful and share it with others. And I hope that everybody else will too.
Thank you so much for joining me here today. The exhibition is beautiful.
Well, thank you sort of for spending the time talking, and my best wishes in your future games.
Thank you.
And I would like to sort of thank Vivian and Dr. Dean for the generosity of sort of sharing these sets with us. And I'd like to thank sort of Rex and Jeannie Singfield and everyone who has made the show possible. Thanks again.